Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl Butler, and you're listening to the Mighty Mommy's Quick and Dirty Tips podcast, which will help make your life as a parent a little bit easier and a lot more fun. Welcome! Today's episode is number 396, 6 Ways to Motivate Your Kids During the School Year, because motivation now goes a long way throughout the year. As the brisk temps of fall slowly ebb and flow into back-to-school season, most of us feel both a bittersweet goodbye to summer and an excitement toward the scheduled year ahead. But that doesn't always mean staying motivated all year school long is easy. Mighty Mommy shares 6 ways to help keep your kids motivated throughout the school year, ahead and beyond. Tip number 1, become a cheerleader. Show enthusiasm for your child's interests and encourage him to check out subjects and extracurricular subjects that really intrigue him. If he loves rock climbing and hiking, then encourage him to read about and explore places to go on a great climb. While you're at it, see if he can become involved in a hiking club or look up some fun new trails on his own. Does your daughter love to bake? Let her take over the kitchen on a regular basis and try out new recipes. Maybe she can even do some of the family grocery shopping with you throughout the year. School is a huge part of our kids' lives 10 months of the year. But they also need to branch out and feed their creative juices with outside interests as well. When we fuel their passions, it will not only help them to become more well-rounded individuals, but this will also help carry over into their school lives as well. Tip number 2, get organized. Help your child organize her school papers and assignments so she feels in control of her work. If her task seems too daunting, she'll spend more time worrying than learning. With the extremely full schedules that kids today carry, thanks to after-school activities, sports, clubs, and jobs, not to mention homework loads, time management skills are imperative for them to keep their heads above water. If your school doesn't provide a homework planner, invest in one of your own. At the beginning of each school week, sit down with your child and review what was assigned. Our schools post nearly everything on the school website, so I visit that frequently, and if I have any questions or if one of my kids seems confused about a particular assignment, I have something to back me up. Realistically, help your child figure out an estimated amount of time per subject needed each night for homework. It will take a few weeks for you and your child to have a good feel for how long the assignments take, but if you know your child excels in English but struggles in math, make sure you set aside more time for the math work each night. And let your child have input with this, since he or she ideally knows what comes easy and what doesn't. We have our children tackle the hardest subjects first so that they can get those out of the way. We also find that they have more focus at the beginning of the night, so doing the more difficult subjects and assignments earlier in the evening, it reduces their stress levels, and mine. Break up the workload each night by teaching your child that he or she does not have to work straight through when it's homework time. I love using our kitchen timer to delegate blocks of time per subject and assignment. Once the timer goes off, they take a break with a cold drink, or they just get up and play with the dog or throw a ball around with one another so they can burn off a little energy. Tip number 3, celebrate big and small. In our household of 8 kids, there is never an end to starting a project or a book report, studying for quizzes or midterms, and trying to stay on top of dozens of assignments. With so many competing agendas, we found that it was just as important to celebrate a small task being accomplished, as well as kick up our heels when a major job was completed. When we recognize the efforts our kids put in on a regular basis, they tend to stay on task and motivated to stay the course. Completing a book report calls for a special treat, such as playing an hour of his favorite video games. Or when a midterm project is done, why not let your daughter have a couple of her best girlfriends over for a sleepover? You'll offer positive reinforcement that will inspire him to keep learning and challenging himself. Tip number 4, express appreciation. One super easy way to keep your child motivated is to express your appreciation for having them in your life. There's nothing wrong with kids being grateful for material objects. as long as that doesn't supersede gratitude for the love and support of the people in their lives. My kids will be the first to tell you that I'll comment out of the blue about the blessings that we all have. When I am up to my eyebrows in laundry, I'll say something like, "Thank goodness for my washer and dryer. I don't know how my ancestors washed little boys' pants over a rock in a stream." It's like when we lose power due to a storm. That's when we start to realize how blessed we are to have electricity every day. But why wait for the storm? Get into the habit of appreciating and sharing with your kids the things that make our lives so much easier on a daily basis, especially the gift of good health and a loving family. These everyday efforts will have a ripple effect in their own daily lives, especially when it comes to succeeding in school. And tip number 5, don't overload your kids. A common mistake parents make when it comes to extracurricular activities is worrying that their children will miss out if they don't participate in everything. This tip is probably one of the most difficult for families to do. Cut back on their obligations and commitments and simplify their weekly schedules by eliminating 1 or 2 activities and instead staying home. If you can even drop just one of your family's regular responsibilities this month and not replace it with anything but downtime, you might be inspired to slowly decrease other commitments throughout the year and take back some much-needed family time. Less really can be more, which in turn helps your kids get that little extra edge throughout the course of the school year. And tip number 6, motivate with positivity. Lack of motivation, for any of us, can be the result of not only way too much going on in our world, but also being surrounded by continued pessimism. Many times, being uninspired not only comes from a person or family simply doing way too much all at once and all the time, but also because of being tuned into negative vibes, naysayers, and negative influences on social media, on the news, internet, radio, and even folks at the bus stop. If this is contributing to some of the chaotic moments in your family's life, then try and disengage from the Eeyores of the world and instead try to connect with the Pooh Bear and Piglets. And if that's not even possible, then stop and evaluate how you come across to your family and friends. Do you have a kind, encouraging word for others? Or are you a bit too critical and judgmental? When we have a positive frame of mind, we tend to attract that into our lives, which in turn can result in more harmony and less friction for ourselves and our family, and top-notch production in all areas of our lives will truly blossom. How do you keep your family motivated? Share your thoughts in the comments section at quickanddirtytips.com/mighty-mommy or post your ideas on the Mighty Mommy Facebook page. And you can also email me at mommy@quickanddirtytips.com. And I hope you'll visit my family-friendly boards at pinterest.com/mightymommyqdt. Be sure to sign up for the upcoming Mighty Mommy newsletter, chock full of practical advice to make your parenting life easier and more enjoyable. Wishing you and your family a truly inspirational school year ahead. Thanks for listening, and until next time, happy parenting.